And I'm so happy to have you here and really to talk about why this is so important, and to be vigilant and enforce sanctions and put pressure on the Iranians is so important. So with that, the great senator from the state of Texas, my friend Ted Cruz. How are you, old friend? Good to see you, man.
Well, good morning. Thank you for your great leadership. I will say this is the first time I've ever had to walk up and circle around a very scary-looking drone. Thank you, and let me say also, the Speaker is doing a phenomenal job. We are blessed to have a good and decent man as Speaker of the House who's doing a great job holding together our mighty majority in the House, and we've got a lot of work to do together, so I am grateful for my friends and colleagues. I want to thank United Against Nuclear Iran for your great work. Your research makes the world safer. As you all know, well, there's no doubt that China represents the most significant long-term strategic threat to the United States. The prospect of an Iranian regime acquiring nuclear weapons represents the most acute and immediate threat to America and our allies right now today. It is a threat that is literally apocalyptic. When the Ayatollah chants death to America, he means it. Iran is enriching uranium that can be used for nuclear bombs because they intend to build nuclear bombs. They are developing missiles capable of detonating nuclear warheads above American cities because they intend to detonate nuclear warheads above American cities. Those who deny reality are frequently forced to confront it involuntarily. The Trump administration has dealt with this threat with strength and force and clarity. In the first term, the Trump imposed maximum pressure while keeping Iran's nuclear program in a box. Remember what the catastrophic Obama-Iran nuclear deal, the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, had entailed. 3 things. Number 1, letting Iran sell oil on the international market. Number 2, legitimizing Iran's nuclear program, which included entangling the international community in those activities. And number 3, terminating United Nations sanctions. Those were the 3 elements of the JCPOA, and it was the most disastrous and dangerous deal in modern times. Of course, the Obama administration could never have gotten that deal through Congress, so they circumvented Congress. They implemented the deal through presidential waivers, the so-called oil waivers and the civilian nuclear waivers, and through United Nations Security Council Resolution 2231. President Trump systematically dismantled that deal. In 2018, he formally withdrew from it. Throughout 2019, President Trump imposed maximum pressure and stopped issuing oil waivers and nuclear waivers, cratering Iran's oil exports and blacklisting its nuclear program. In 2020, President Trump invoked the snapback mechanism in UNSCR 2231 to reimpose the United Nations sanctions. By the end of the administration, Iran had been sanctioned to the point where their oil sales had plummeted from 1 million barrels a day to just 300,000 barrels a day. The Iranian economy was in free fall, and the regime was teetering and near collapse. Throughout all that time, Iran was deterred from making significant advances on their nuclear program. They did not even enrich uranium above 5%. or cascade advanced centrifuges. After the 2020 election, the Ayatollah gambled that he could start rushing to a nuclear arsenal, and the incoming Biden administration would do nothing to stop it. Unfortunately, catastrophically, that proved correct. In January, they started enriching at 20% at Fordo, the underground enrichment bunker built into a mountain that the Obama-Iran nuclear deal left open and operational. The incoming administration responded with rank appeasement. Instead of pressure, Biden officials went to work functionally re-implementing the original nuclear deal. They immediately went to the UN and they undid the snapback mechanism, again terminating UN sanctions. Within a year, they reissued the civil nuclear waivers, and they allowed Iran's oil exports to climb to JCPOA levels without even bothering to issue oil waivers. We know the result. Today, the Ayatollah has achieved nuclear breakout time of 0. We now face the very real possibility of an Iranian nuclear arsenal. President Trump, his administration, and all of us who want to prevent Iran from ever acquiring nuclear weapons face an immeasurably more complicated task today than 4 years ago. Right now, President Trump and his negotiators are still seeing whether the threat can be dealt with diplomatically. The president has said from the beginning of his term that any solution would have to include an end to Iran's capability to enrich uranium, or in the language we've all been using for the last several weeks, the complete dismantling of Iran's centrifuges. President Trump explained that red line in the opening weeks of his administration. In his National Security Presidential Memorandum about Iran, NSPM 2, the president said, quote, Iran's nuclear program, including its enrichment and reprocessing related capabilities and nuclear-capable missiles, poses an existential danger to the United States and the entire civilized world. President Trump was right. He has emphasized it over and over again in the context of talking about a verifiable deal. Just yesterday, the president said he intends to blow up Iran's centrifuges, and it can be done nicely or viciously. But either way, the result has to be complete dismantlement. But I don't think people fully understand, and not just Americans in general, but many in the policy community, and maybe even some folks here, is why full dismantlement must be the policy. Why is it that the only verifiable deal is one in which Iran fully dismantles all of its centrifuges? It's not just that a deal in which Iran dismantled its centrifuges would be a better deal than the JCPOA, although certainly one of the many flaws of the JCPOA was that it left Iran spinning increasingly advanced centrifuges across multiple facilities. Biden officials allowed the Iranian regime to build out their nuclear program to such an extent, in such a way, that allowing Iran to continue nuclear work would render any deal unverifiable. They re-implemented the concessions of the JCPOA while allowing Iran to violate it. The Ayatollah was allowed to build and to enrich while keeping the cameras turned off. And now, verifying any nuclear deal while Iran is allowed to continue building and enriching has become simply impossible. Here is what the IAEA said in its February report. Quote, The situation was exacerbated in June 2022 by Iran's decision to remove all of the agency's JCPOA-related surveillance and monitoring equipment, all. As a result of not having been able to perform JCPOA-related verification and monitoring activity for 4 years, the agency has lost continuity and knowledge in relation to the production and current inventory of centrifuges, rotor and bellows, heavy water, and uranium ore concentrate, which it will not be possible to restore. Let me repeat that. Which it will not be possible to restore. Right now in the Senate, I'm leading a letter with my colleagues, Senator Ricketts and Senator Cotton, laying out this case, emphasizing that Republicans in Congress understand clearly the threat and expressing support for the president's repeatedly stated red lines. We will see if the Ayatollah is prepared to make a deal that meets those red lines. And then we in Congress and across the country will have a debate about the rest of those terms. There is significant talk about potential solutions in which the Ayatollah gets to keep a civilian nuclear program, but must give up all of his enrichment capability, and how that might be a solution. Personally, I don't think the Ayatollah needs uranium for any kind of energy production. Iran floats on a sea of oil. They are not lacking for energy. But I'm running out of time, and we'll see. I want to close by saying thank you. Your resilience, your courage, your unwavering commitment to ending Iran's fatal regime is critical. Your voices matter. This fight could not matter more to our lives and to our children's lives. Thank you.